Identity, the qualities and beliefs that make a particular person or group different from others. When we think of identity, we typically think of the things that make us unique and different. Globalization, the process by which the experience of everyday life is marked by the diffusion of commodities and ideas, is becoming standardized around the world, characterized as a totally interconnected marketplace, unhampered by time zones or national boundaries. We have defined identity and globalization, but what happens when we combine the two together? Globalization plus identity equals new identity. But what is this new identity? Through globalization, traditional identities have been lost and a new identity has evolved. It is one that typically creates greater benefits for developed nations and mimics that of the Western culture, greatly influenced by the United States and some of the other Western world powerhouses. It is music, media, dress, lifestyle, architecture, food, and entertainment, all those things that make us who we are. The new identity has in many ways created a sameness of people throughout the developed world. Beginning at birth, children worldwide are exposed to what is referred to as universal childhood. It is believed that the genre of children's cartoons maintain the capacity to cross cultural barriers, suggesting children everywhere are the same. They like to age up. In other words, it means they desire to be older than they are. They fantasize about power and achievement. They like to feel brave and moral. But Timothy Havens of the University of Iowa argues that the ideals of childhood presented in children's cartoons draw only upon certain definitions of life and childhood, and not others. They carry particular ideas about race, gender, age, class, and other forms of social grouping that rely heavily on the model derived from Western nations. The industry leaders for children's cartoons are the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Fox Kids, and Disney's International. Interestingly, all of these are American-based networks. According to a 2001 Screen Digest survey, 46 of the approximately 100 television channels aimed at children were owned by one of these four channel operators. Not only do they control the market on children's broadcasting, but they have also established retail markets for their products to further influence the globalized child theme. By introducing children to universal childhood through cartoons, we are encouraging the Western ideals of childhood, providing for a common identity of children among the developed nations. This Western influence on universal identity continues and intensifies as children move into adolescence and teens. Dress, style, hair, and music all serve to encourage an international common identity. Dana El Baltaji said it best with respect to MTV when she said the power of MTV has been spread worldwide, taking on its own modified meaning for different cultures, and that it has been able to transcend social, cultural, and financial boundaries. It has even been able to tap into the conservative Middle East. This is because youth everywhere inspires to be cool, which is to inspire respect and awe from others, much as Western civilization has done among the world powers. Arab audiences have accepted the Western definitions of what is and isn't cool and made it pertinent to the region. Is this to suggest that even those people from the Middle East have an identity that mimics the people of the United States, whom they hate? In reflecting back to the 1960s, we think about how satellite broadcasting was commingled with a period of time often referred to as the age of globalization. More importantly, we remember that this proclamation was more of a myth than reality. The producers believed that satellite television had the capacity to create a global now universe where all nations could participate in a live broadcasting from anywhere in the world. While the intent was good, the actual manifestation of satellite TV quickly raised concerns among world leaders which called for equal right of participation of all parts of the world and of all countries and provide for an equal flow of information to and from the developing countries. Lisa Park suggests that this phenomenon was conducted in a way that supported the Western fantasy of global presence. It was criticized for dividing the world into industrialized and impoverished and totally excluded a large group of second and third world nations who did not have access to television and satellite technologies. Now, some 50 years later, some of the same criticism still surfaces when we speak of globalization. Has anything really changed since then? Or is the new identity of the world being reinvented to look much like that of the Western culture?
our first grandson.
He sees you.
Hi na, 아빠 안녕하세요.
아빠 안녕.
In the goodness of time, all peoples will come to live together in a peace guaranteed.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Together, we are the Human Network.